Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a different opinion again. Yes, we are back on the topic of the wokeness, right? So this one here from the Washington Examiner is a very good article in my opinion. It's an opinion piece, obviously, from Elizabeth Stauffer. Wokeism threatens to destroy America's foundation. We must not let it. And I mean, you guys are on the forefront, right, in America. You guys are the ones fighting this firsthand. It's here in Australia now, but only in small parts. But it is growing. Like my mother is a teacher, and she says that more and more kids are starting to talk about it. More teachers are talking about it to students. And then yet again, they can't actually tell the parents legally what's going on with the kids. Even if they are, let's say, saying, I'm transsexual, whatever, they can't actually tell the parents. Or they all get in trouble. It's ridiculous. It's the dumbest thing ever. Since COVID, there's more and more of this where they can just tell you what you're allowed to do and what you can't do. Government says, nope, you're not allowed to do that. You got to do this, you got to do that. Like, it's just too much authoritarianism. Way too much. If you don't do what I'm telling you, you're going to get in trouble. If you don't do this, you'll be fired. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't take this vaccine, you're fired. Like, it's ridiculous the way it's going. And before we do jump into this one here, I got a couple of videos as well to show you just how crazy people they are. Obviously on Libs of TikTok, a very, very, very good page. Definitely follow it if you're against this fight of the wokeness, right? If you do want to support the channel, please subscribe below the video. Click that red button so you can see future videos. Like the video if you do also like it. And also comment, what do you think? I really, really want to know what you guys think. Like literally, for me to read the comments and see what people think is very interesting. And I'll always try and reply when I can, right? So let's jump into this one here. From the Washington Examiner. In an October 2020 speech, French President Emmanuel Macron identified an existential threat he claims of stirring up division among citizens and undermining the country's cultural heritage, certain social science theories entirely imported from the United States were to blame, he said. Then French Minister of Education Jean-Michel Blanquer echoed Macron's sentiments. He warned there's a battle to wage against an intellectual matrix from American universities. That's where it's happening mostly, right? Is in these universities. More and more professors and everyone like that is pushing their agendas on the students. And now they are teachers, now they're literally nurses, now they're all of the government institutions, they're handling your children. And that's not to say all of them are woke, right? But there's a big percentage of them now which are like that. They were referring to the toxic wokeness that originated inside the hallowed halls of America's finest universities. But this menace, even at the time these remarks were uttered, had spread its tentacles well beyond academia and had begun to alter the very essence of American culture. It was also starting to take root in Europe. It's in Australia for sure, I can tell you firsthand. It's in New Zealand. It's in many countries around the world. Macron and Blanquer were right about the threat, but they arrived at this realization too late. Yeah, like that's the only thing. You think it's one area, you think it's still coming, you think you're prepared, but you're not. And that's why more and more it's happened to parents in countries where they don't even know about this, right? And their kid could be transsexual for 2-3 years. And there's been more and more that I've seen where parents find out that their child is transsexual. They end up actually supporting the child in this move, right? Because I mean, what's going to happen if you don't? You'll probably be arrested or some crap for neglection or something. And then what ended up happening is they ended up moving to a different city or something like that. They got away from that school. They got away from that maybe group of friends. And then suddenly they were back to normal. They were back to, let's say if they were a girl, they go back to being a girl and so forth. So it's very interesting. There's more and more of those stories that happen. And so many parents have actually found out and they moved away because they're afraid. And then their kid went back to normal again. So it's funny how when you get them away from that teacher and get them away from that environment, that they actually go back to your natural instincts of being a woman, being a man, right? California becomes first sanctuary state for child exploitation. President Joe Biden's victory then the following month sent wokeism into overdrive. 2 years later, we are living in a country barely recognizable. Very true. Mainstream institutions from media outlets to hospitals want the public to believe that men can get pregnant and that children should be allowed to make life-altering decisions about their gender. Thank you. Why, since when have we allowed as parents, no, I'm not a parent, but as parents, since when have you allowed your, let's say, 3 or 4 year old child to choose to do, like, you know, a surgery, or, you know, 10 or 12-year-old child to do a surgery? I mean, there's a reason why you got to be 18 to do most things, or 21 in America, for example, to drink. And these decisions require parents' signature or consent. Watch this mother mouth the words along with a transgender child. This kid was fed what to say. Transgender kids are like vegan cats. It's the owner or the parent doing all the thinking, making all the decisions for them. More and more I see these videos and it creeps me the hell out that these parents, it's like they are forcing the kid to be trans because it's the in thing. You know, they go to their friends, my kid is trans, and oh my lord, wow, stunning, brave, oh wow. It's ridiculous. So let's watch this.
9-year-old Kieran Clausen collects crystals. She dabbles in face paint and she loves sports.
What do you play?
I did play volleyball.
So it's a boy, right? Let's be real. It's actually a boy. So have a look at this creepy damn ass mother, right? Of course she looks like the proper definition of a damn Karen. Let's watch this.
Trophies for it though. I feel
just look at her mouth here. You don't even need to look at the kid. You need to look at her mouth to just exactly see that she knows exactly what this child's going to say. Because she's like, this is what you got to say. Let's watch this.
Trophies for it though. I feel like that's the most unfair way to compete because it's not about winning.
What's it about?
Having fun with your friends for it though. I feel like that's the most unfair way to compete because it's not about winning.
Kieran seems undeterred with
It's very creepy when you look into it, especially how doctors are actually advertising this stuff on TikTok where all the kids are looking at it. They're getting accepted into these big societies where if you say that you're transsexual and you dress different and you act different, you act like you're transsexual, and then all these people online like, wow, you're so brave, stunning, brave, amazing. And then you feel so accepted by this crowd that you've never met, who don't actually care about you. They don't know you for a bar of soap, but they act like, you know, you're very brave. You've done the best thing in the world. 10 years later down the track, you're dealing with mental conditions because studies have shown that with such a long duration of puberty blocking surgery, that it affects your emotions in a negative way. So people are dealing with depression. They're not being accepted anymore. They're not young and, you know, 13, 14, 15 brave anymore. Now you're suddenly 20 something. Now you're being thrown out. Now you're trying to fit back in again and you're on the outer. So if you ever do get the time, watch What is a Woman by Matt Walsh on the Daily Wire. So just to show you what is a woman, it's from the Daily Wire. You got to be subscribed to them to be able to see it. If you are against the movement of the wokeness, then definitely watch this movie. Definitely support the Daily Wire. 8.5 out of 10, right? 24,000 reviews. There's a reason why it's rated that high. And he goes and actually interviews, you know, these people that do these surgeries, the people that talk to these kids. And the thing that really gets me is, right, the good user reviews. I'm a Democrat voter, but this is a genius documentary, 10 out of 10. Those who call it transphobic haven't watched it, 8 out of 10. Worth watching, 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10, funny. Mad as a sheep amidst wolves, 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10. So let's jump into some things here. Next one. The most common age is before 5 years old. So this is talking about when kids know that they're transgender. Before 5 years old, right? I don't even remember being under 5 years old. What the hell was I knowing at that age? Come on, far out, man. For all those patients that they identified that they were, quote, gender dysphoric or transgender as a child, by 5, often certainly early as 2 or 3, and this is years old, 2 or 3, trans children begin expressing their other selves. They wear clothing associated with the opposite sex and proclaim out loud they are not he but she. The medical community hopes to continue offering gender-affirming care to children and adolescents without any opposition by having their critics either silenced or prosecuted. Medical groups call on the DOJ to investigate threats targeting gender-affirming care. So people talking up and saying this is weird that you're literally doing gender surgeries on children and under 18-year-olds, and they are going to be targeted by the Department of Justice, the DOJ, right? While they've accused the critics of spreading disinformation and coordinating, provoking, and carrying out threats, they haven't supported those claims at all, nor have they disputed the facts that have been reported about the procedures and treatments these hospitals offer. Rather, they've doubled down on the gender-affirming care for minors and adolescents, saying that stand with the physicians and nurses offering it. It's freaking scary. Watch What is a Woman. Do not miss this. Definitely watch it. It opens your eyes big time to what's going on. And it's only a little amount that he shows, right? There's so much out there. There's so much out there now, even since then. And it only released this year. It's crazy. But let me know what you think in the comments. Have you actually dealt with any of this wokeness? Have you been affected by this? Let me know in the comments. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you do want to see future videos. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video.